I'm live. I'm reading out of Return to Elysium. It is the 2nd of December, a chilly day, a Saturday. This is Joan Grant's life as Lucina in Greece and Rome. She has now returned to Elysium, and we are at chapter 6, The Garden. The garden has remained even more inconspicuous than when Asclepius ruled Elysium, so I was surprised when a man, whom I presumed to be one of them, was so frequently in evidence. He looked like an ex-gladiator and seemed eager to increase his already overdeveloped muscles, for he was either carrying heavy stones or else brandishing iron bars, which an ordinary person could scarcely have lifted. I intended to mention him to Epicurus with a hint that he was neglecting his duties. Fortunately, I realized in time that he was not an employee, but a fellow guest, having seen him lying on a mattress in the shade while a servant massaged him with oil. I nodded to him, but instead of acknowledging the courtesy, he reached for more wine, which the servant poured for him. Then he drank greedily and wiped his mouth with the back of his hairy hand. Epicurus found me watching this curious barbarian. "What do you think of our new inhabitant?" "Hardly the type one would have expected you to welcome," I said. "You bring with you a variable breath of Rome, my dear Lucina. No matron could have expressed herself with a more authentic blend of patronage and nausea. But wait till you meet the rest of the family. A troupe of circus performers. We shall not lack entertainment. The wife would be most offended if she heard you. A lady not without charm, even if these are a trifle emphatic for my taste." He pointed towards the house. "It is her custom to relax in the garden after the arduous duty of the toilet. If I am not mistaken, she's coming out now. From here we shall have a clear view of an excellent performance." A woman, plump, though graceful, came slowly down the rose pergola. She was preceded by two girls wearing embroidered tunics. One carried a silver mirror, a flask of perfume, and a bunch of hyacinth. The other a box of sweetmeats and a robe of red fox. They arranged purple cushions on a day bed, where their mistress languidly reclined. They then set their offerings beside her on a silver stool, and taking up fans of white and amber ostrich feathers, waited to supplement the gentle breeze should it prove insufficient. "She must find her husband somewhat gross," I said, "and he must think her excessively distinguished. I presume they have no children?" "They have a boy. You're fortunate not to have made his acquaintance. He's a petulant and spoiled, pretty and intolerable. A living incentive to the foot for his bottom was created to feel the impact." "Why don't you send them away?" "The hospitality of Elysium cannot be refused, and they have as much right to it as any of us. Anyway, I thought you sent them here." "Of course I didn't. Am I likely to have befriended a broken-down gladiator with no manners?" "Don't call him that, or you will have to watch him perform a dreary sequence of athletic impossibilities. You will grow either so pitiful or bored that you will have to applaud, for until you do, he will refuse to stop. He's very conscious of his dignity." "Are they fond of the child?" "They dislike it intensely. I doubt if you will ever see either of them in his company." "Do they like each other?" "So far as I know, they have never exchanged a civil word. In fact, now I come to think of it, I have never seen them together." "Meals must be delightful," I said sarcastically. I seem to remember Asclepius insisting that harmony was a requisite of digestion. "We eat in our rooms when we are hungry. I tried to maintain the old routine, but found it hard. I found it had certain disadvantages." "How fortunate, now that the company has deteriorated." "You needn't talk to them if you don't wish to. She seems perfectly content to think about herself between one toilet and the next. I must admit that she has the most startling range of garments. Persian one day, Roman the next, and the gamut of foreign conceits. Very becoming to her they are too, for she is a good-looking young woman. Even you will have to grant that. With all my faults, I said coldly, I've never been jealous of other women's beauty. So long as you could remain contemptuous of their minds and undisturbed by their powers. You talk with the cynicism of Narcissus. He had an extraordinary faculty of remaining undeceived by women. Was Narcissus a cynic or a passionate idealist? I think he had expected so much that he lost everything, even himself. You might have saved him, Lucina, but you were too ignorant. Or was it easier to accept him as an instructor in certain female arts, which your pride would never permit you to use? I have to stop this here.